This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and in front of us is a pile of Ghostbusters stuff. This is how the 4 figures for the Ghostbusters 2 movie came packed in the deluxe box. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this stuff apart and take a look at the figures. But we will start with the figures first. Right here. Oh, they all come out really easy. So we got our Bill Murray. Venkman, my favorite Ghostbuster. We've got Ernie Hudson looking real young, also known as Winston Zedmore. Oh, man. Looks like they're using the same, I mean, they're still going to be the same figures as the previous releases. Just that they've glued like this yellow thing there instead of the hook or the hole for the PKE meter. And that's on all of them, it looks like. We got Ray now. Remember previously when I was doing the Lewis Tully one and I had mentioned that the backpack is a pain in the butt. Oh, the backpack's not actually fully attached on any of them. Okay, well, you know what? I am not going to fully attach them because we're going to have to take them apart anyway in the near future. But we have our Dan Aykroyd Ray Stantz. And last but not least, we have the late, great Harold Ramis as Egon Spengler. All right, so for the most part, the Ghostbusters are all using the same body. The only difference is Ray Stantz, who has a slightly pudgier gut. Their pants are all the same except for Peter Venkman, who actually has his does not tuck his pants into his boots like everybody else does. You know, I'm gonna have to rewatch both these movies, the Ghostbusters ones, and I want to see if he actually does wear them that way in both movies, or because now I'm kind of thinking about that. Also, their costumes are blue here. I thought they were a dark gray. But yeah, I need to rewatch the movie, I guess. So let's just go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do the articulation. We're just going to do it on one figure because, again, pretty much almost everything is the same on all of them. Only minor differences in a couple places and their heads, which I don't think I'm going to be doing headshots for these guys. Maybe I'll just do one big headshot here for you to look at. They're all pretty decent, but again, let's actually do a quick comparison of heads real fast. I am using the Slimed Ghostbusters because I was going to assume that they were just reusing the same heads. However, I noticed, like, obviously with Zedmore, because Ernie Hudson shaved off his mustache, does have a different head. Honestly, he looked a lot younger in Ghostbusters 2 than he did in the first one. Egon here has different heads. It's interesting. I wasn't really expecting them to be different heads. Even the hair is looks like it might be different. Either that or the mold is so overused it's slipped a bit. But no, when you look at it from the side, the hair does look different. So they actually did give us new head sculpts for these so far. And again, I'm using the slimed ones. Actually, their hair looks messier in the original versions. I have no idea what is going on with Ray's expression there on the new one. You know, I'm not sure I consider any of these things to actually really look too much like the actors. Like, it's a hint of them, but like, especially the Ghostbusters 2 version of Ray here, it kind of makes me think of Jim Carrey a bit, actually. But yeah, there is. These are different head sculpts for him, too. Let's do Winston, the most obvious one that needed a new head sculpt because he got rid of the mustache. The hair is different. He's got bigger, more hair on his head. So, and he does actually look younger in this figure than he does in this one, which is kind of funny when you think about it. A little bit of irony there, I guess, maybe, that the second movie he looks younger. A lot of times that does happen when you shave off facial hair on guys, though. Oh. You know what? I think their heads also look a bit thinner on the newer figures. Hey, Wednesday. Oh, shit. Keep standing, buddy. All right. I do actually kind of feel like this figure resembles Bill Murray a little bit better than that one does. But they went hardcore on that receding hairline there on his Ghostbusters 2 figure, man. But yeah, he also has kind of weird face sculpt. Now that I think about it, kind of reminds me of Al Bundy in that one. All right, so yeah, new head sculpts for all the characters. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at our accessories. First up, we've got our neutrino wands and blasts. All right, so like with the previous Louis Tully figure that we did, we basically need to hook up the neutrino wand the same way we did, which is up the hole and attach to there. Don't forget the Ghostbusters 2 logo is on their uniform. And then we have the proton beams, which would be used the same way, which is unfortunately, they're all the same hands again, so it would be the same problems. Like I said, you can't really get a good positioning on those hands. Then you just stick this up here in the hole. And once again, you have the neutrino blast. It is, of course, heavy. And previously, when I had my Winston from the original set on display with the neutrino blast going off, it went limp like a guy with erectile dysfunction. That being said, we have 2 additional packs here for Ghostbusters 2. And these go with Ray and Winston. So we will move our buddy Peter and his pal Egon, who is apparently drunk, in the back. In this case, we have the slime throwing guns here. And 6 cables that apparently you need to use to attach them. Why are there 6? So just as a quick reminder for y'all, all the instructions are in one booklet. And I don't know if you did not get the deluxe set, if this is the same instructions you got. But anyway, it shows where the 3 slime thrower cords go and kind of how to put them on Ray and Winston. All right, so what we're going to do here first is remove the proton packs from our guys. Set that aside. Set Ray's aside. Now, Ray stayed on a stand. Lucky Ray. All right. So we're going to put their arms out like that and take timber. So we got 2 sets of straps here to undo on both sides, like so. Kind of wondering if maybe heating these up would be a good idea, because this is going to have to go over them and then close around them. I wonder if Hasbro is going to make a slime throwing backpack as a prop. Probably not. Okay. Winston's head fit just fine. Man. There we go. By the way, as a Ghostbuster story goes, a buddy of mine went to Dragon Con a number of years ago, and saw Ernie Hudson there, and he had autographs. And he had a special autograph that my friend got me, where at some point, I guess Ernie Hudson had all the other guys sign a bunch of autograph pictures, and then he would sign them at the convention and put a name on them. So my friend got me one of those for Christmas one year. So I have an autograph. Now, I don't know if all the autographs are actually on the, or if they're just, if, it's printed and then Ernie just did his. But, it was a cool thing. So we need 3 slime throwing cords. Okay. So we got, let's take the other slime unit real quick. So 1, 2, 3 spots for cords. 1, 2, 3 spots for cords. And of course, because it's Hasbro, they don't actually specify which one goes where, but we can assume that since the curve is that way, that these probably go in the... it just occurred to me, I was doing Winston specifically because I thought it would be easier to get the backpack on without putting the cords in place, and now I've just done Ray's backpack. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. All right, we got Winston's equipment all set up here. Now, the only thing I can think of with his backpack, though, is that one cord's got to go that way and those 2 got to go that way, which seems kind of stupid because that then means that this has to be, both ways, or, well, you'll see what I mean in a moment. So that's how that sets up there. Now, these guys carried it like that, kind of. Or I guess maybe over the head. And then let's see if we can get his hands in the proper position. Because one's got to hold onto this handle here, which I'm assuming has the trigger. Oh my gosh. Oh, I am not enjoying this at all. I think this is where we're again going to get into that problematic moment where we can't quite position the hands right. Oh, for God's sake. There we go. And there we have Winston with his slime pack. All right, folks, there we go. We got our Ghostbusters with our slime shooters. And to go with the slime shooters, we have the slime. We'll take a look at the other accessories here in a moment. So there we go. And in case you were wondering, it was in fact as difficult to get Ray's gut over that as it was to do the proton pack. Actually, it was a little bit easier than the proton pack, but not by much. So we got our 4 figures there. We're going to go ahead and grab Venkman, because we now have some additional items to go over. And we have a couple more of those Ghostbuster buttons. For the, see them right there? The fill-ins for the holes in the Ecto-1. Which, of course, the other set came with 2 and we only needed 1. And I don't know if we need more than that. So we have a Ghostbusters balloon, unblown. Can go in his hand. We have a Ghostbusters 2 coffee mug. Come to think of it, though, I don't know if they actually had balloons with the Ghostbuster logo. I can't remember in Ghostbusters 2, but if they did not have the Ghostbusters 2 logo on it. It's supposed to be that party scene. I really do need to watch those movies again. Maybe I'll talk to V and see if she wants to watch those. And here's Venkman trying to sell some Ghostbusters merchandise with the mug up there. Now, of course, then we got our mad scientist Egon, who put mood slime in the toaster, and learned that by playing positive music, it was a happy toaster. And apparently, if they play negative music, it was an unhappy toaster. Again, these are just odd little props to have. Just as some base extras, that they could give you just to say whatever. Coffee mug did not want to fit in the hands very well, though, to be honest with you. And the balloon, I think, is honestly just stupid. And looks more like, a sock that you would put some money in to whack people with. But otherwise, these figures all look really good. So my overall on these figures, Hasbro, of course, went the cheap route by reusing the original Ghostbuster bodies that they used for the first wave of figures. And I'm sure it's the same body that's being used in that 4-pack they sold to go with this afterwards. And for those people who did not get the original Ghostbusters. But I definitely think it was worth the deluxe upgrade to get these. And I mean, realistically, I think the upgrade was like $75, if I remember correctly. And the figures alone are worth at least, at that time, $25 a piece. Now they'd be going for like $28 a piece being sold. And we got a ton of equipment with them. I mean, we got the 2 slime packs with all their extra equipment. We got 4 neutrino. We got 4 proton packs with neutrino blasts. They definitely didn't have to do that. If you might recall, a number of years ago when Mattel had the Ghostbusters license and they gave us some 12-inch figures, they ended up giving us like 2 of each. They gave us 2 2-packs where you could swap out uniforms. One came with a Ghostbusters 2 uniform, one came with a regular uniform. Then you'd swap them on the characters if you wanted. And then you had a proton pack and a slime blaster in each one. And I believe it was Ray and Egon and Peter and Winston in the packs. And the only one I ever ended up getting, I think, was the Peter and Winston. So that being said, I never did anything with those. They're still in the boxes too. But that was kind of stupid because at the same time, I mean, I guess it was smart on Mattel's side because people would have to buy 2 packs of each in order to get 2 matching uniforms, right? So you'd end up with 4 proton packs, 4 Ghostbuster uniforms for both Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, and then 4 slime throwers because, again, like I said, you had to buy 2 of each pack in order to put together a single team in one uniform. In which case, you've now put together 2 teams in both uniforms. Anyway, that's going way off track. So, yeah, I think this is definitely worth going the upgrade to get these figures. You know, aside from Egon looking like an actual mad scientist this time around, I think they all turned out pretty well. But why don't you let me know what you guys think in the comments below? Do you think these guys turned out well, or do you think they didn't? And do you think it was worth the upgrade just to get these figures? My opinion, again, was it is, and I'm not just saying that because I'm hoping to put the second set up on eBay and get a decent amount of money for them. But actually, now that I think about it too, it's very possible that I might not do that because I could take the extra set of figures and have one displayed in the car and one displayed outside the car. But I hope you enjoyed this look at our Ghostbusters 2 figures from the Ecto-1 Deluxe pack. And if you did, please feel free to slime that like button. And if you'd like to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. That would be awesome. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.